Good morning, everybody. Just getting a little bit of the early morning sunshine here before I get out and about with my day. I've been wanting to share something here, and I've been talking about lately. I've been doing a lot of this real deep kind of inner work. It's like some of the deepest that I've gone into myself, and really just working on a lot. And a lot of things have been coming out. And I like to share these kind of some of the things that I come up with. Because I think it helps when there's other people that are probably going through it as well, and if you're watching this, you might be kind of stuck and struggling, in any area of your life. And that's one of the things that I was challenged with kind of identifying what is it that gets in our way? Like, what is it that gets in the way of us being, doing, and having what we want, right? And I know a lot of times, we get filled with self-doubt. We start playing the mind game, that I'm not good enough. Maybe I don't deserve it, or I'm not smart enough. We compare ourselves to like everybody else, and, maybe just think like, life it's just not meant to be for us. And, all these kind of frustration starts to happen. And that's where we tend to kind of give up, and then we start to settle for really kind of next best, right? Well, I really want this, but that's not really happening. And, I don't think it's ever going to happen. It's not in the cards for me. I'm not good enough. I'm not, whatever. And maybe, so I'll just kind of settle for maybe what I think is more realistic, right? Or what I think I could get, and then we start listening to everybody else, and we start living our lives according to other people's expectations and beliefs and opinions and thoughts about us, right? And so one of the things I was thinking about was like, what is it that gets in the way? Like, what really stops this? From my like experience with this, and what I found is that it's not that we don't have the knowledge or the skill or the ability to have what we most want in our lives. It's not that. A lot of times we think it's that, but it's really not. And I know, like, coming from, I had to think back and dig about like, what was it for me? And going back, years ago when, I was $55,000 in debt and filed bankruptcy, and, almost evicted from, our apartment when my daughter was like 6 months old, and because, of all these struggles. And then I struggled with my weight. I struggled with health problems. I struggled with pain, injuries, like all these struggles I had. And I remember just, every day, like waking up with, this deep, dark, like depression almost every single day, and feeling this tremendous like anxiety and this fear and worry, and, and never feeling like I was going to get out of that or get past that. And then looking like now, fast forward, like all of that stuff's gone. Like, what was it that was the big difference, right? Because what I found, was that like, I read every self-help book, and I love self-help stuff. Don't get me wrong. I saw motivational speakers, went to seminars, I wrote positive affirmations and had them all over like the house, and would read those things every day. And, I had like these mantras and vision boards. did all that stuff, and none of it ever really worked. And what I found, the big thing was that, it's not that we need to add more things to do. We don't need to do like more things. And the reason why is this, because what I found is that the reason why these things did not work, it's not because they're no good or anything like that, or they're wrong to do. The problem is when we have these kind of subconscious beliefs, we have these subconscious thoughts, we have these feelings that drive us to act in ways based on that. So if I think I'm not good enough, if I think that I am not smart enough, if I think that I don't deserve to be doing have what I want, that's how I'm going to act. So everything I do is going to be coming from these thoughts and feelings and beliefs that I have about myself, which is going to reinforce it. I'm going to get more of not being and doing, having what I want, because that's my actions are aligned with those thoughts and beliefs and feelings. And so what I found is that really it's not like when we try to add all these things. You can read self-help books, you can think of all the things that need to change and what you need to do, and believing in yourself and taking action and finding your big reason why and all that. But if you don't identify the things, the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that are holding you back, and that are causing you to act in ways that are only going to be aligned with what you don't want in your life, then all these strategies and everything are never really going to work, because they will not be enough to overcome the things that are holding you back. So it's not a case of like we need to know more things, or we need any special like talents or abilities or skills or anything like that. We don't need to be as good as anybody else. We have the power within us to be, do, and have what we most want in our lives, but we can't realize that power until we identify the things that are holding us back. So that's the big thing, that you don't need to get wrapped up into all these other things you think you need to do. And instead, it was really the simple question of, what is it that's holding me back? And that was the biggest work that I had done, was identifying and then overcoming and eliminating those things that were holding me back. So that's kind of what I'm getting at today, and I want to share that with you. So if you're stuck with whatever area of your life you're stuck with, is asking yourself, don't worry about like doing all this other stuff, but ask yourself, what is it that's really holding me back? And see if you can identify that, because once we identify what it is, then we can change it, right? And it has to do with bringing it into our awareness. You cannot change anything that you're not aware of. So if we're not aware of what it is that holds us back, and it's always driven from thoughts, feelings, and beliefs within ourselves, if we don't identify it, we can't change it. But once we identify it, we have awareness. So what awareness does is it gives us the power of choice. And when we can choose differently, we can change. We can create change in our lives. And when we create change, that's where we grow. And that's what leads us to where we want to be. So I hope that helps. That's just what I wanted to share today. And in the meantime, I'm going to get started on my day. But just ask yourself, what is it? Whatever area of life you feel stuck, struggling, frustrated in, what is it that's holding me back? And see if that helps you out. All right, I got to go. Have an awesome, awesome weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.